Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and today you guys are probably thinking, why are there Kashtira cards on the screen and why are we talking about Kashtira? Well, as you guys know, the TCG is getting a lot of fire support over the next couple of months, including the Sinful Spores support engine and a powerful card called Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, which gives a lot of these fire decks graveyard resources. Now, obviously, Kashtira is renowned or very well known for being an anti-meta graveyard strategy. So obviously back in the day, Arise Heart was format warping. However, the deck does not have Arise Heart and it has to rely on basically being a Fenrir control deck. So the deck doesn't need its graveyards at all, so it can compensate by playing these really powerful cards like Dimension Shifter and Gravekeeper's Inscription. Now, I'm going to go over the deck in a little bit more detail, but essentially what I think Kashtira can offer the format is a tier 2 fringe deck that isn't destined to win these big tournaments. It probably might get a hot run now and then. I just think it's a niche anti-meta strategy that has slight positive matchups into the fire decks for the next couple of months, being this anti-graveyard strategy. And although it has lost the main win condition, being Arise Heart, it still is a fairly consistent strategy. And what I'll probably do at the end of the video is do some little test hands, show you how I play like a turn 1 board, and go over some potential changes as well at the end of the deck profile. But obviously you've got the deck right here in front of you, so feel free to screenshot it, share it around, or even try it as a template for yourself. But essentially what I'm going to do is just go in a bit more detail, tell you how I play the deck, and maybe some changes at the end of the deck as well. So yeah, I think this deck has a place in the metagame for those players that aren't willing or don't have the resource or the time to essentially invest into learning really technical mirror matches with the Fire King and Sinful Spores mirror matches. I do think those mirrors are really tricky to learn and probably will get a little bit tougher, and it's very back and forth Yu-Gi-Oh! So I get it's like not everyone has the time to invest to learn these mirror matches, but I think it's just a strategy that you could potentially fall back onto, say if things aren't going your way with the Fire King deck or the Rescue Ace deck. Just something that can just catch people off guard, and yeah, so I do think this deck has a place in the metagame. But so, without further ado, we're just going to go straight into it. As people know, Kashtira cards are quite big boss monsters that essentially come back every turn via Kashtira Birth. I also think this card's very good into the format as well over the next couple of months. So yeah, Kashtira Birth, and obviously, well, the deck's an anti-graveyard strategy in general, so obviously this card's going to be decent. For the non-engine, I'm just playing Infinite Impermanence, Ash, Mourner, Shifter, and Gravekeeper's Inscription, along with Prosperity as well for technically non-engine, but also digs you into these engine requirements and potentially non-engine requirements if you're searching for a hand trap after you do your turn 1 combo. So Gravekeeper's Inscription is probably a card that a lot of people have been looking at. Essentially, it is a spell card, non-quick play, reads at the start of your main phase. It has to be the first action of the main phase 1. You can activate it to apply one of these effects. So the big one here is neither player can activate cards in the graveyard. So that is basically Abyss Dweller. So why is that good? It's very good against Fire King, and it can be decent against Rescue Ace because it turns off the Preventer in graveyard. I'd probably say the graveyard one's a little bit, the banished one's a little bit better against Rescue Ace, but however this card does have 3 very flexible, powerful 2-turn effects. So this effect does literally last for 2 turns to the end of your opponent's turn. So you activate on your turn, it's in effect for 2 turns. This effect here is probably what you want to shotgun blind. Say if you win a dice roll, you go first action, activate this, both graveyards are turned off for the next 2 turns, and then you can set up a little mini board with Fenrir, Unicorn, pass turn, see what opponent does, and then you've got a lot of follow up. And then yeah, that's pretty much it really. But again, Shifter, everyone knows what this card does. And then I think these 9 here or 3 are probably the best generic cards. Mourner could be Veiler, however I don't like playing Veiler in this deck where it could potentially conflict with a Shifter. And having Shifter plus Mourner is pretty strong, especially when you have access to your engine as well. You should, and this deck can OTK like crazy. So yeah, I'm fairly confident these non-engine slots are probably the go-to choices for now. You've probably noticed as well there is no Ghost Bell in this deck. Now, Labyrinth is a tricky matchup for this deck, so you could potentially look at the side deck and maybe take out the Lava Golems, or even the Summer Limit, which might sound crazy, which I'll get onto when we cover the side deck. But yeah, essentially, Bell could be in the side deck, and I wouldn't even hate it in the main deck at all. But I think this is fairly generic, especially when we have this weird couple of weeks where we don't have a obviously pre-Bonfire and pre-Phantom Nightmare, sorry. This weird little format where people are just going to mess around with loads of things and probably learn the Rescue Ace matchups and the Fire King matchups. So it's a decent little list to take and a template to go for the weeks ahead. So for the engine itself, obviously 3 Fenrir is like a Fenrir control deck at this rate. Unicorn is actually very good. Well, obviously it's a very good card, but I mean its effect on field when your opponent activates a monster effect, taking critical extra deck pieces sort of gives you a win condition of sort of the War of Affinity, right? Where you're constantly, every other turn, you're taking cards from your opponent's extra deck. In a Viking matchup, it might not seem that good. However, taking Heaters, taking Sunlight Wolves, and my DB timed out, but we are back. So yeah, taking Heaters, taking Heat Souls, Sunlight Wolves, Celine's Access Codes, even the XYZ to nuke the field. The War of Affinity is there with this card, and obviously with it being at 3 now, which is great for the deck. I think Konami probably did this on purpose. They want a deck like a shifter deck to exist. They want these anti-meta choices to exist in the game for players who just pick up and say, I haven't got the time to learn the Rescue Ace, the Fire King matchups. I'm just going to play an anti-meta strategy, which is fair enough. 2 Rise Heart. I don't like this card at 3. I think 2 is perfect because this plus a Birth or this plus a Theosis is a quotation full combo. And the effect to banish 3 cards face down from your opponent's top of the deck creates this sort of variance in matches where you can potentially hit important one-offs. You know, back in the day, people used to activate a Rise Heart and they used to banish a couple of tier names, tier limit monsters, and that'd be really important. Especially, you know, look back at YCS London format earlier last year. Against Branded, you'd activate a Rise Heart and you'd take out 1 or 2 critical resources for the Branded deck. So yeah, this card creates a lot of variance, especially when you activate it more than once during a particular match. So yeah, I think this card is fine at 2. Scareclaw Kashtira, it has to be played at 1. Obviously, the effect to negate a monster and when it attacks or when a Kashtira attacks is still very powerful. Ogre doesn't have to be played, but I like it as an extra body, and it gives you some versatility against the Labyrinth matchup, especially this skill drain you having an Ogre with a field spell and another Kashtira names gives it a niche little attack boost that works particularly well in the skill drain. Not like the Labyrinth decks really playing skill drain at the moment. They're playing quite mid-rangey, but it's just nice to have. Plus, being able to manipulate your opponent's top decks is always really strong. You're probably noticing there's no Big Bang in here. Well, I decided to cut Big Bang because I just don't think it's important anymore. I'd rather just have the only target preparations, and of course, when you're going second, you simply just side out these cards, Ogre and Prep, and it gives you a nice clean 2 Panga drops to come in going second. So very clean side pattern, and just the one lonely Planet Pathfinder. It's just basically another consistency card. You take it out going second. It was back in the day. It was very bad against Book of Moon, but no one's playing Book of Moon anymore. So yeah, it's just another field spell essentially, and a field spell is probably the best card in the game because it gives you a little targeting destruction when you activate Shang, which can always be nice going second as well as going first when the opponent tries to play. Terraforming, of course, the 3 Theosis and the 3 Birth. So that is a nice clean 40 card deck list, heavily focusing on anti-graveyard strategies with the Inscription and Shifter. Of having essentially 6 copies of Shifter is so strong. So I'm more than happy to show you guys this sort of deck profile because I do think these decks will exist in tournaments. So just be prepared for especially Gravekeeper's Inscription, because it's not just Cash that can play this card. Pearly can play it as well. Centurion can play it. So there's a couple of strategies that can utilize this card, and I think this card will definitely have a place in the meta game over the next couple of months. So for the side deck, very cookie cutter side deck. Again, like I said at the start of the video, we could probably fit a Bell in here. Now, a card that I like right now is Necro Valley, but I feel like when people play against Kashtira in its current iteration, those Lightning Storms are coming straight in the side deck, especially when you put it first as well, because it's you expect to have, you know, cards like Summer Limits, other Floodgates to be coming in, you know, Macrocosmos, Dimension Fisher. So I think moving away towards that and playing a lot more hand traps could be the way to go, because I don't like playing to your lose condition, which is essentially a Lightning Storm to take out the Floodgate that you dig in for your Prosperity. I'd rather play one more hand traps to just keep my value in hand. Let my opponent play through my Unicorn. Let me look at their extra deck. Let me take a card. Let me Fenrir a monster, and then do it all again next turn with keeping Birth in hand. Also, another card you could potentially play that some people overlook is Extravagance. You don't really need the extra deck. Sometimes, ideally, the end board is Shang with a Fenrir and a Unicorn, or Shang plus a Unicorn, or Shang plus a Fenrir, depending on the matchup. You don't actually need the extra deck, and sometimes if you want to play more hand traps, drawing 2 cards is pretty decent when you've got a bunch of non-engine in the deck, and the deck isn't that inconsistent. It isn't, you know, it's not that bricky. Especially having the one Pathfinder, I think it works out pretty well. So yeah, maybe Extrav is a potential option over Prosperity, but I just like the fact Prosperity can dig for these Lightning Storms, dig for these Lava Golems going second. Just really nice, especially when he's playing Labyrinth as well, being activate Prosperity first action, search for an Ash Blossom for the big welcome that you should know that's set. So yeah, that's pretty much the side deck, but just build it on your tournament really. Pank Drops is quite niche because you can normal summon it as level 7 with Birth. So yeah, that's quite cute. And then for the extra deck, it doesn't really matter. The only inclusions that we play now that we didn't play back in the day is probably just Typhon and SP, but these cards probably won't come up. Typhon probably will come up more than SP. I still like the BLS card. So back in the day, YCS Leon format, we played this card in tier because it couldn't be targeted or couldn't be destroyed when you used it for level 7. Now, what we used to do is attack once, so it gains 15, and that's a 45 attack monster that cannot be targeted or destroyed. This could be very good against Fire King, and I don't want to leak the goo, but this card could be very, very good against Fire King, because how are they outing this card that can't be targeted, destroyed, and has 45 attack? Some of them play Underworld Goddess, and that could be an issue, because you don't really want to activate monster effects, because the talents could just ruin your day if you have this card. But remind me in the comments if I'm missing something, but I don't think there's a way Fire King can out this card other than Underworld Goddess and talents. If you don't you obviously won't try and activate a monster effect if you think they're on talents. But a 45 monster, 45 attack, cannot be destroyed, and cannot be targeted. And then if they go to attack it after that, you can just banish the card on the field, which is pretty strong. So could be an option. I think you could probably play this in Fire King as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do some test hands here. As you can see, no Inscription and no Shifter. But say if we're going first, obviously this hand's a bit wonky, so you have to normal summon the Rise Heart, but that's absolutely fine. So obviously I'm going to go to my main phase, I'm going to declare the effect, which banishes his cost. Probably just going to banish the Fenrir here. And obviously your opponent then banishes the top 3, and then you get this card as a level 7. What I'm probably going to do here is check for the Ash, obviously target this, check for the Ash Blossom. If there's no Ash, that is great. I'm just going to special summon my Unicorn, and then use the effect to add a Birth. Now, a couple of options here. What I'm probably going to do is just overlay these into Shang. And then you can activate the Birth, bring back the Fenrir, activate the Fenrir to search, and this gives you a bunch of follow-up. here you can either search for another copy of Fenrir, or you can search for a unicorn. But if you're scared of potentially dying, you could just add the Scareclaw Cash to hand, depending on the matchup. If you know the matchup and you think your opponent plays a lot of gas that might kill you, you can just add this card to hand to potentially stop yourself from dying. And even if you stop yourself from dying, your opponent has to break your board through 2 hand traps while you have a birth on field and in hand as follow-up. So in this position, let's say I'm blind, I'm just going to go for the unicorn, extra follow-up, and then essentially it's just set 1, and then during your opponent's turn, you can declare this in the standby phase, special summon out a unicorn, either in attack or defense. I don't think it necessarily matters, but I'll probably put it in attack, just to make it awkward for your opponent to try and beat round if they try to do that. And then essentially here you've got Shang to lock out 2 zones, potentially 3 with the birth if they activate spell cards, if they have more than 3 cards in grave, and then of course 2 hand traps. So decent little end board here. That's probably how I play the deck, but just sometimes if your hand is loads of non-engine, just ending on a unicorn and a Fenrir, or unicorn Fenrir, probably gets the job done. It survives you the turn, and then you've got a bunch of non-engine and a bunch of follow-up. And like I said, one of the main win conditions if you don't see Shift or Inscription is the War of Attrition. Looking at your opponent's extra deck, taking those key pieces, locking out zones here and there, and then just grinding out your opponent. So that is pretty much Kashtira over the next couple of months. It's just an anti-meta strategy. If you haven't got the time or resources, I think everyone probably should know what the Kashtira cards do. I don't think the deck is too expensive other than a field spell, so it's a fairly budget deck, and it can certainly pick up wins against his top deck. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.